If you live in California, you're probably aware that California is very different from most other states, and many of these differences have political implications. In many important ways, the structure of California government is very similar to the structure of the federal government that we've already learned about. Both California and the federal government have three branches of government with separation of powers. They both have a bicameral legislature. In both California and the federal government, the chief executive has a 4-year term with a 2-term limit. And in both systems, the chief executive has the ability to veto legislation, which can be overridden by a 2/3 majority vote of both houses. But despite these similarities, there are some big differences between California and the rest of the nation. The most obvious of these, of course, is the fact that California is just so big. California is the most populous state in the nation with 38 million people, which is 1 out of every 8 Americans. It also has a big economy, the world's 8th largest. And this includes many diverse industries. California is the world's leader in movie and TV production. The farms of the Central Valley feed America and the world with the top agricultural economy in the United States. And of course, Silicon Valley is known the world over for its innovation in high tech. This means there are many different economic groups competing for influence in Sacramento and around the state. Of course, another significant way that California is different is that it's the most diverse state in the nation. For example, Latinos comprise 13% of the U.S. population, but 39% of the California population. And Asian Americans comprise about 5% of the U.S. population, but about 13% of the California population. While whites and African Americans comprise a smaller percentage of the California population than elsewhere. The result of changing demographics is that racial conflict is sometimes spilled over into California politics. For example, in 1996, California voters approved Proposition 209. This proposition ended the use of affirmative action by the state of California. But it was the fight over Proposition 187 that's had the longest-lasting consequences. This proposition ended all state social services to illegal immigrants, including health and education services. Proposition 187 was strongly endorsed by Republican Governor Pete Wilson as he was running for re-election. His campaign was widely viewed as being anti-Latino, as seen in this ad. Despite this, Proposition 187 passed, but it was ultimately held unconstitutional by the federal courts. However, it's had a lasting impact on California politics because Latinos have been solidly Democratic in California ever since. Partially as a result, another major way that California is different from the rest of the nation is that Democrats completely dominate California politics. California hasn't voted for a Republican presidential candidate since 1988. Democrats hold massive majorities in both houses of the state legislature and have done so for years. And California's Democratic dominance means the Republicans are different too. In order to win statewide office in California, Republicans must be more moderate than they are in the rest of the country.